Hi. Uh, welcome to the Q&A video. You guys asked a bunch of questions, and I will give you a bunch of answers. Hopefully my answers are to all of your liking. Gonna have some comfy music here in the background, just comfy vibes as I answer all these. This isn't really a video that you need to use your eyes for. You can just listen if you'd like while you're doing other things or whatever the frick you do when you watch my videos. But nothing crazy is going to be going on the screen. I'm going to be reading from bottom to top here, basically in order that the questions were asked. So this might be a decently long video, so I'm just gonna get started. Turn it down a little bit in my ears so I don't get distracted. Okay. So first question, Peyton asks, what are your long and short-term goals? A very good question to start out with, Peyton. My short-term goals, I have 3 that I could think of. One, I want to get in the habit of making, just like, not really making videos, but like when it comes to me posting my PBs on Twitch, I might want to put like, a voiceover of me at the beginning, or I've done that with a couple of my videos. I've had more to help me out. But with stuff like that, with little things like that, it's kind of something that I want to try to do myself. So learning how to edit pretty much, or relearning how to edit, because I have edited before a long time ago. And well, yeah. Second one is basically speed goals. I've got different speed goals that I want to do, but this includes my Jack 3 100% endeavors, trying to sub Goofy and get top 3 in all the Jack Trilogy 100% categories. So that's another one of my short-term goals. Another one is trying to get back into well, not trying to get back into, because I never really got into it. But I want to start like jump roping. It's always been something, I know it's like a really good workout, and I've jump rope before, but not like consistently, and I want to try to do it like, for a little bit of time every day, just to have some, not to be sedentary. So yeah, my long-term goals, I can only think of one, because my life right now is very like feels very short-term goal based, and the long-term goal is like so far out of my sight, and because I don't know where my life is going. I don't know. But one long-term goal that I do have is just to feel secure in myself, and trying not to give a crap about what other people think as much as I do. And that's a long-term goal, because I don't think that's going to be an easy one for me. So I know that one's going to take a while. So yeah, that's all I have for you, Peyton. Hope that answers your question a little bit. Jibster asks, have you ever heard of Haven Call of the King? It's my second favorite PS2 game, right next to Jack and Daxter. It has no speedruns that I know of, and only one commentated playthrough on YouTube. It's a shame, it'd be terribly long to speedrun, otherwise I would. Jibster, I have not. I've never heard of this game, but I did look up some gameplay of it, and it definitely has some like Jack inspired elements to it. And as of right now, because I couldn't find any speedruns of it either, it definitely, all games start out very like long to speedrun, but the more work you put into it, the more stuff you find, and I'm sure the game has a lot of things just waiting to be found. Most games do. So give it a shot if that's what you want to do. Give it a shot. Kentustus asked, favorite ramen flavor? Chicken. Would you rather have a working jetboard, Flut, or Zoomer IRL? I would rather have a Zoomer IRL, and here's why. I don't know how to skateboard, so I don't think I'd be very good at using a jetboard. Flut, I don't know how to take care of one. I don't know if anyone really knows how to take care of one, and I don't know if I can handle a Flut dying on me. So I will take the Zoomer IRL. If you could live in any Jack 1 level, which one would it be? Picking Sandover is cheating. Great question. If Sandover's cheating, then I'm going Sentinel. Is that also cheating? I feel like... Well, you said only Sandover's cheating, so I'm going with Sentinel Beach. Eric asks, did you fail No Nut November? Yes. Yes. And yes. Skunk is in these comments everywhere. You know what? We'll get to Skunk's question eventually. Chris asks, the Jack and Daxter saga is my favorite of all time, so I'm curious, what about the games makes you continuously play it? Does it stand out as a game to you? If so, how? What keeps me playing the games is the movement, for sure. The movement and the community surrounding it. The games would not be as special if it weren't for the community surrounding the games. I think that's... once you get to know these people in the Jack community, they are awesome people. So, I don't think the games themselves like super stand out. They are iconic for sure. But I mean, that's not why I continuously play it. I'll be honest with you. Next question is from Sticky. And he says, what video will make you laugh every time you watch it? I'm gonna pull it up for you right now. Give me 1 second. And I don't know if Sticky is trying to get me to, because we do this thing on we do this thing on whenever I stream called I laugh or you lose, which is basically you laugh, you lose. I just want it to be funny. I don't know if he's trying to get a video to make me laugh, but here's the one. This peanut butter baby video is so effing hilarious. I'm gonna pause the music for this.
Oh.
This kid has me crying.
Does it feel good?
Ah. So that video has me crying most of the time. Yeah. Don't you think about submitting it. It's not gonna make me laugh, alright? Anyways. Next question is from Skunk. How many pounds is my cat? 14. Well, the other one is 15, but she's a lot more fat. Great to know, Skunk. My guess is 14. Was I right? And maybe 15. If you have two cats, the second one is 15. I hope I was correct. Ward asks, once I get it, will you add me on Discord and help me speedrun? So the beautiful thing about speedrunning is that there's a community surrounding it, and there are tons of tools that runners have made, including myself, to help you get started speedrunning. Once you've watched those videos and still, have questions, that's what the Discord is for, because, I mean, there is a chance that I will answer your question in Discord, but, it helps having multiple people potentially helping you on this. Yeah, but just getting me to help you is not the best idea, and it never is the best idea. So yeah, join the Jack Discord. Go to speedrun.com/Jack1 or Jack2 or Jack3, and there's a tab for Discord. But yeah, hop into that or watch the guides. There's a guides tab under the speedrun.com pages as well. That has tons and tons of resources. So yeah. Cultured says, is Jack and Daxter a game from your childhood or just something you picked up to speedrun? Jack and Daxter is a game from my childhood, yeah. In fact, like, literally, I'd say like 95% of the games that I've ever done speedruns of are games that I played prior, like as a kid, and just wanted to, try out the speedrun. And Jack 1 is no different. So yeah. Jadaneb's 12 Rack says, how do you have the patience to speedrun these games on a consistent level? It's fun. It's fun, even when I lose runs. Maybe that's an addiction, but it's fun. That is how I have the patience. I don't mind losing runs because when I start the next one, nothing that happened in the previous run matters. And I just get to start over. Cultured again asks, which character in the Jack universe has the most cake? I don't think Naughty Dog was actually... Did they... I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know. I don't think the people over at Naughty Dog were ass people. I don't know. How about you tell me? How about you reply and you tell me, because I genuinely have no clue. Reek says, as a fellow Californian, do you prefer Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, Universal Studios, or Six Flags Magic Mountain? Personally, I could just rank these from how fond my memories are of going to these places. Last would be Universal Studios. I've been there maybe like once or twice. It's super cool if you're into like movies. I personally not really a movie person. But it's cool to be there. Next would probably be Disneyland. I know, shocker. I know a lot of people love Disney. I am, kind of like I do like Disney, but I'm not like a Disney lover. You know what I mean? So I've always thought Disneyland as like it's a cool place to be, but like the rides aren't amazing. There are a few amazing rides, like Space Mountain is probably my favorite ride at Disneyland. That one's awesome. I don't know. Next would probably be Knott's Berry Farm. This is probably the place I remember most going to as a kid. Either that or Six Flags. It's probably pretty even. But Six Flags just has the better rides, in my opinion. So Six Flags is easily the best. So yeah. Ward, again, asks, what is your favorite category in Jack and Daxter speedrunning? Orbliss. If no one knows what... I'm sure many people know what Orbliss is, but in Jack and Daxter, the first Jack and Daxter, there's a category called Orbliss where you beat the game without collecting a single orb. So that is my favorite category. Ramon says, do you think a Jack 4 is likely to ever happen? And if so, what would you like it to be? I think we are in a video game era where like remakes and stuff and going back to franchises that were popular back then and making new games. I think that stuff is kind of popular now. Do I think it's likely to happen? Not really. But I'd love to be proven wrong. I'm not sure what I'd like it to be, though. What I don't want it to be is what Naughty Dog showed us in the Bible. The Jack 4 art that they put was scary. I don't want that. But I don't know exactly what I'd want it to be. I feel like I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to video games. So I'd be happy with a lot, I feel. Void Memes says, will you speedrun Battle for Bikini Bottom again one day? Probably. If there was a game I had to go back to, like, if I couldn't play the current speed games I'm currently playing, I'd probably go back to Battle for Bikini Bottom. Yeah. It always looks like a bunch of fun. So yeah, probably. Christoph asks, which job do you have, or do you go to college? My job currently is streaming. I'm basically a full-time streamer now, because I dropped out of college. For those that don't know this, I don't think I've ever really talked about this on YouTube a whole lot, but I did talk about it when I was streaming once. But I did end up dropping out. I needed 2 more classes to finish. And I know that might sound crazy. Like, Josh, you were only 2 classes away. Like, what the hell? But it was tough. Every week was a growing, like, sadness. Going to college, and it got to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore. Like, I thought to myself, I don't want to die for this degree. Like, it got really bad. So yeah, there were a lot of tough times for me in college, and yeah, going to college, for those that don't know, I went to college for math, and really difficult stuff for me. So yeah, it was not worth dying over, so I dropped out. So I now stream full-time, hoping I can make that work. If not, who knows? Who knows? Brian says, did you know you have the same first name as Joshua Christ? Yes. Yes. I don't know who that is, but it does make sense that we have the same first name. Yeah, I got a question real quick. Why in the name of Satan's flaming dollar store did you keep that cursed ass background I made and use it for this video? Yeah, so for the I'm sure, well, if you didn't see my video saying that I was doing Q&A, I used a very cursed background that May created. I used it because it had the most to look at, and I wanted to confuse my audience as much as possible. So that was the easy choice. Hi, Dom. Dom asks, is it possible to manipulate the rock walls in Fire Canyon? I feel like they're gaslighting me into thinking I can manipulate the path. No. The rock walls are solid and they're not going anywhere. Yeah. What is your favorite speedrun game to watch besides Minecraft, and why? See, Dom knows me very well. This is how I know Dom watches, like, he watches a lot of me, because I will say time and time again that Jack is not my favorite game to watch. My favorite speedrun game to watch, Minecraft is, because there's so much to it. And it's so much fun learning about it. So what's my favorite speedrun game to watch besides Minecraft? That's a tough one, because it's pretty much all I watch. It's obviously got to be the Jack series. if I'm not watching Minecraft, I'm watching someone from the community play Jack. So, and it's usually the game that I'm playing right now. So right now, I'm currently enjoying Jack 3, watching Jack 3, then watching Jack 1 or 2. So to answer your question, Jack 3. What are your favorite games other than Jack and Daxter? Or if you're not sure on the answer, then at least which one you're good at. Well, my favorite games other than Jack and Daxter. In fact, my favorite game of all time is not Jack. My favorite game of all time is actually Ratchet and Clank Going Commando. Which ones I was good at? I did talk about Battle for Bikini Bottom a while ago, but I did get pretty good at that. That game is even bigger of a speed game than Jack is, and at one point I was top 4 in every category. In fact, I was top 3 in every category except for one category, which I was 4th in. So I was top 4 in literally every single category, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah. Yeah. 1998 asks, what's your favorite TPL soundtrack? That is a great question. My favorite soundtrack, that's a toughie, because you know it's all like background music. But God, I love listening to like the snowy like bells. Like I love the, I don't know, I just love the sound of it. You know, it gives a very calming vibe, and I am into that. So probably snowy. Probably snowy. Ada asks, are you married? No. Far from it. May asks another question. You ever get seriously sick and tired of answering what's your favorite Jack? Or Jack 4, yes or no? Best Jack category. It's funny because all 3 of those questions were asked prior to this question being posted. That's so funny. Or do you not mind it? I really don't mind it. But it mostly depends on my mood. Usually if I'm in a really bad mood, like I don't stream anyway, so I don't get the question. But if I'm in a decent enough mood, which is a lot of the time, generally I'm okay with it. But yeah, I just, as a streamer, I just have to accept that people are going to ask the same questions over and over. And it's not like the people who are asking them know that I've answered it thousands of times at this point. It's not like they know, so I really don't mind answering it, you know. So yeah. Ricky asks, plans to come to ESA. God, man, I really want to. If I ever were to go to Europe, it would be for ESA, no doubt. If I were to go to any other country right now, it would be wherever ESA is at. But man, I you know, the funds to get there is a lot. The passport, the whole process is a lot. And one day, like before I'm done speedrunning, I will at least come to ESA one time. I promise. I have to. Too many homies in Europe. Tyler asks, or Tyler says, this gives off NPC vibes, waiting for the player to make a decision. Yeah, that's what I was going for in the previous video. That is exactly what I was going for. So I'm glad you caught on to that. Stefan asks, will you ever speedrun Resident Evil 4? I'd like to see you do it. Respect. Thank you, Stefan. I probably won't. I mean, never say never. But like I said before, usually the games that I end up speedrunning are games that I've played from my childhood. And Resident Evil 4 was not one of those games. I did play Resident Evil 5 a lot, actually, funny enough. But yeah, I don't see myself ever speedrunning Resident Evil 4. But again, never know. 12 sided says, if you can remember, what were your first impressions of Jack and Daxter, specifically the first game, and how old were you at the time? It's always cool to hear origins of legendary runners. My first impressions of Jack. When I first played Jack ever, I was really, really young, like maybe 4 or 5 years old. The game was for my brother. He's 5 years older than me. In fact, the copy that I currently have of Jack and Daxter is still that copy. That's a funny detail. But yeah, my first impressions, I just remember really enjoying just looking at the world. Everything is so pretty, especially in Geyser. In fact, I don't think I got out of Geyser, especially being that young. But I just remember everything being really pretty. So yeah. Kenny says, do you prefer Jack and Daxter should reboot or continue its story in Jak 4? Also, would you want another Jack and Daxter game from Naughty Dog, considering how they did The Last of Us 2? Never played The Last of Us 2 from what I saw. Kinda don't want Naughty Dog to screw the pooch on future Jak games. I personally would love a reboot. A Jak like trilogy reboot would be, I feel, way more awesome to me than a Jak 4. But I mean, maybe it's because Jak 4 is more of a risk. I don't know though. I would prefer the remake because there's a better chance that it'd be received better. For me. But I don't know. I'd prefer the reboot, personally. Sven says, "How are you and Kana doing?" You know, this is a interesting way. I I didn't know when I'd be telling anyone this, but we actually broke up. I wanted it to be a pretty like quiet thing. But you know, when it comes down to it, like, I don't really want to give the details of it, just because I just want to keep that private. Because I mean, it's nobody's business but ours. And yeah, pretty much, I'd like to keep it that way. But I mean, when it comes down to it, like, we are both kind of losing ourselves in our relationship, and we both want to be better for ourselves. So that's what I'm trying to do. But yeah, if you do see this, I don't want people to like bring it up in stream, my stream, or in the comments. Just, you know, don't tell me, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, I don't want to hear it. So if you've read it, just acknowledge it, but I don't want to hear about it. Like, I don't want to see it on my stream or anything like that. So, yeah. Hazel said, okay. How much money do we need to raise for charity in order for you to do an onion eating speed run? Hazel. California onions are 2 to 3 times larger than ones from other states, so it's okay if you only eat half an onion. Please reply swiftly, as this is an urgent matter. The police are on their way, and they need to know how much money to stuff in the bag. Well, it's been 6 days. Thank you for your time. Best, Mother of Cat, Muncher of Mangoes, Doctor of Pepper, survivor of the Great Pantry Raid, not the Panty Raid, ender of the terrible Panty Raid, oh, bonker of Hornies, living, breathing person, PhD in people talk, factual information, typer of words, cooker of curry, enjoyer of TLF in all cutscenes, actual economist, economist, holy frick, literal two-head, me too, serial killer, serial roaster, spewer of lies, teller of truths, simper of vi, player of games, fan of the great jack off, me too. I'm not even gonna. You know what? I think we get it. I think we get it. Thank you so much, Hazel. Also, this was sent from the Galaxy S1 smartwatch for the iPod Touch Generation 2. This is a fantastic comment. Oh my god. Name your price. Name your price. I honestly don't know how to answer this question. I've read this like 5 to 6 times. It makes me laugh every single time, and I don't know how to give an answer for this. I don't know. Raising money for charity is sick. But God, onions are so awful. Anyways, let's move on. I got my bike stolen says, what made you want to start speedrunning, and why Jack and Daxter in particular? And has the game gotten old to you, or do you still enjoy the games? What made me want to start speedrunning was, there was, well, what kind of, Okay, so there's kind of a weird timeline on this, because the first game that I tried to speedrun was not Jack and Daxter. It's actually Ratchet and Clank, Going Commando, because it was my favorite game of all time. I wanted to look at the speedrun of it. I actually learned a decent amount of it, and then got bored. I was like, you know, but this was back in like 2014 when strats weren't exactly great for that game then. But yeah, that's kind of what got me to start speedrunning. Eventually, sometime after that, I looked at Jack speedruns. Jack 1 in particular, because that was my next favorite game that I could think of. And has the game gotten old to me? No. The game, there's, you know, okay, with speedrunning, like, obviously there is only so much in the world of Jack and Daxter, right? You know, there is a finite amount, and, you know, speedrunners know so much about it, but there's still stuff to be found, like, for sure. There's still more knowledge we can attain. So the game doesn't get old to me. I'm very, like, much burnt out on Jack 1 at this very moment, but the game has not gotten old to me. I still very much enjoy the games. I'm actually really enjoying Jack 3 right now, with the exception of the Pac-Man mission. With the exception of that mission, I am very much enjoying Jack 3. Yeah. Mark asks, my question is, are you okay in general? Also, are you happy? I am alive. I am alive, and that is a blessing. Am I happy? I'm happy with certain aspects of my life. I don't think, this is kind of weird to say. This is gonna be like kind of doomer to say, but I don't know if I'll ever be like fully happy all around. I think there's always gonna be something, but you know, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm enjoying streaming. I'm enjoying talking with my friends and my brothers, and you know, if there's one thing that I know is that I'll be okay. Like, I'll be okay. So even this is particularly a pretty tough time in my life right now, but I will be okay, and I know it. So, yeah. Ward says, any intention of going to ESA? Eventually. For questions that that are asked more than once, I'll just kind of gloss over or just repeat a quick answer. So, With that being said, eventually. Joe. Will you attempt to get the individual Jack 2 and Jack 3 100% world records? Probably not. My intention with Jack 2 and 3 100% is to bring my PBs low enough to where if I add my personal best for Jack 1 100%, Jack 2 100%, and Jack 3 100%, collectively it is under 10 hours. I'm currently at like 10 hours and 12 minutes. So I still have quite a bit of ways to go, but it's looking very, very doable for me. But that does not entail the Jack 2 and Jack 3 Honda world records. I'm definitely not good enough for those yet. But if I put in like a lot of time, then I guess I could get there. But yeah. Jacob asks, when will you unrig the gamble bot? Never. Elliot says, do you know anything about Ronaldo Fortnite's location and status? Please, Josh, you're our last hope. Yeah, I mean, he's in Long Beach somewhere. I don't that there's an area for you. Somewhere over there. Arska says, what do you need / have to do to become a successful streamer such as yourself? I feel like starting, but I have no idea how and when or even where. That is a great question, Arska. I personally, and this might sound weird to people who don't stream, but I don't see myself as a successful streamer. Like, there has been success in my streaming, but I would not call myself a successful streamer. I wouldn't say that I've made it. And I don't know if I'll ever feel like that, no matter how like large my following gets. But to get to where I did, I was consistent. I knew what I wanted to do, and I was consistent with the times that I streamed. For the most part, I was not always like, I don't, you know, so there are some days where I just don't feel it, and that's okay. But with the times that I streamed, I was consistent, and eventually you just kind of, you know, this has not happened to every streamer, but sometimes you just kind of catch a break and people start to hop in more, and you know, you just gotta be consistent and actually like genuinely like what you're doing, because if you're not, people are going to notice that. People are going to notice that you're not liking what you're doing, and that has effect on, you know, stream. So do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. I cannot stress that enough. Do what you want to do and be consistent about it. Yeah. That's how I got to where I am today. However, to get to where I want to go, it might not have the same formula. And I'm trying to figure that out myself. So, yeah. Killer B says, what is your favorite video game? If it's any of the Jacks, then what's your favorite outside of those? And I want to make it a Jack-inspired game next summer. I was wondering if you'd be interested in helping. My favorite video game is Ratchet & Clank Going Commando. And as for the Jack-inspired game next summer, I don't know much about creating games, but I would be more than interested in playtesting something for you. That has always sounded fun to me. So, if something comes of that, then yeah, hit me up. I'll playtest it for you. Sage Station says, when did you first ever play Jack and Daxter, and do you genuinely enjoy the series / story itself outside of speedrunning? Jack and Daxter is by far my favorite all-time, my all-time favorite video game series. Got channel art. I started playing when I was probably 6 years old. It always intrigues me to see other people who like the game, and I'm curious to see what the draw is for one, the series' best speedrunners. That wasn't official before, it definitely is now. Well, Sage, The first time I ever played Jack and Daxter, I was like 4 or 5. The first time I ever beat it, I was maybe like a preteen, maybe 11 or 12. Do I genuinely enjoy the series slash story itself? Yes. It's not my favorite story of all time, but I do enjoy it, yes. Jack 1 in particular, I think that is the game I enjoy the most, like, just looking at. It doesn't have, Jack 1 doesn't have the best story. I think Jack 3 does. But the game has so many, like, good things about it that, yes, I can genuinely say that I enjoy the series outside of speedrunning. Yeah. Samite says, could you give us some insight into why Baron Praxis wants to bang his daughter? That's like, if anyone has, that sounds so like weird if you have no idea what's going on. There was a, in Jack 3, I don't know if, I'm sure people know about this, but, in the, what's it called? It's the Jack 3 model viewer. Thank you. Oh my god, my brain. The model viewer has praxis. Well, I guess this would be the Jack 2 model viewer in Jack 3. Praxis, you know, it's such a weird thing to explain. But basically, it's like they're acting in the game. It's so weird. It's like if you've ever seen, you know what? I'm not even gonna try to explain it. Just YouTube it. Look at the Jack 2 model viewer in Jack 3 and look at Baron Praxis' lines. He's like acting like he's Baron Praxis, basically. That's all I'm gonna say. And there was something about him wanting to bang his daughter. Just, yeah. Just YouTube it, man. Dustin says, if you could never speedrun a Jack game ever again, what game slash series would you mainly run, if any? I would probably speedrun Minecraft or Battle for Bikini Bottom, or both. I'd figure it out. You know, there are games that I, you know, love outside of Jack, and I know very much so that I exist outside of it. I'd figure it out. I'd figure it out. Tacos says, big question. Once you are no longer streaming, once you get a teaching job, will you still try to remain part of the speedrun community as much as possible? So, again, since I had dropped out of school, I no longer plan, at least right now, I no longer plan to get a teaching job. But if push comes to shove, I gotta do what I gotta do. I can't speedrun anymore. I can't stream, and I need to, you know, find a way to make money somewhere else, doing something else. I will absolutely try to remain part of the speedrun community as much as possible. I owe so much of my life to the speedrun community. This is, I love speedrunning, and it's been 7 years now that just speedrun, I don't know. Speedrunning is so big to me, like I can't just cut that off, you know. I will be a part of the speedrun community as much as I can, for as long as possible. I don't see it any other way. Jacob asked, hey man, huge fan. Whenever I go back and play Jack and Daxter, I always feel such love and connection to the world Jack, but especially through the music. What's your favorite track for the Jack and Daxter series? Mine would have to be Sentinel Beach. I'm gonna say Snowy Mountain. 100%. Christian Gamer says, I got 4 questions. 1. How long have you been playing Jack and Daxter? 2. Which Jack and Daxter game is your favorite? 3. Is Jack and Daxter your favorite game? And 4, do you know our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? To answer question 1, I have been speedrunning Jack and Daxter for almost 7 years now. Jack 1 is my favorite game. Jack and Daxter is my favorite speed game, but it is not my favorite game casually to play. It's Ratchet and Clank Going Commando. Do you know our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? I did once. I did at some point. Hope that answers your question. Ross says, balls or shaft? Also, would you drink the boggy swamp water? I'm gonna go with shaft. Would I drink the boggy swamp water? With the right price. I would probably drink the boggy swamp water. Just to try it. Just to spice it up a little. Corvus says, have you ever thought of playing other games like Sly Cooper 2 or Sonic Adventure Battle 2? I actually did speedruns back in the day of Sonic Adventure 2. Way back in the day. In fact, I did a few runs last year, actually. As for Sly Cooper 2, maybe someday. Yeah, I mean, I did play through Sly 1 a while back. Never got through Sly 2. Never owned the game. But yeah, I don't doubt that I won't play, Sly Cooper 2 at some point. Slip and Fall says, which Ninja Turtle is your favorite and why? Also, does speedrunning ever mess up your enjoyment of the games you play, / any new games that you play? Like, is it hard to play a new game normally instead of having the mindset of speedrunning it and dissecting every little detail about it? Okay. Ninja Turtle. Donatello. Why? I don't know. They're all actually cool. Purple is just cool as frick. So I'm gonna go Donatello. Also, does speedrunning ever mess up your enjoyment of the games you play / any new games that you does it ever mess up the enjoyment of the games that I play? No. Speedrunning enhances it like every time. And it's not really hard to play a new game normally because I've kind of always had the mindset of like playing through a game fast before I ever really knew about speedrunning it. It's always been like my shtick for as long as I can remember. Like, if I found a little glitch, I'd think the world of it. Like, it'd be the greatest thing ever if I just found something wrong with the game. So no, it's not. I think speedrunning lines up with the way that I thought the whole time. Maybe that's different for other speedrunners. That's how it's always been for me. Trevor says, have you tried drugs? Yes. I've tried, well, not anything like crazy. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I did meth. I did not. I have done shrooms. Shrooms is probably the worst drug, and that one just, like, that was actually a good time. I don't know. I'm not saying do drugs. I'm saying do it in moderation. Okay? Do it in moderation. Do what you like. Do it in moderation. Okay. Timothy says, what is an in-depth explanation on M theory and how does it apply to general relativity? M theory is a theory in physics that unifies all consistent versions of superstring theory. That's all I got for you. That is all I've got for you, my friend. I don't know how to answer the second part. Psychothermal Whale says, why are we still here? We're still here because humans have a tendency to survive. That's it. We want to survive so bad. That's why we're still here. Unusable says, what were the first games you speedran or tried speedrun strats on? The first game I tried speedrun strats on was Ratchet & Clank Going Commando. First game that I did a full speedrun of was Jack and Daxter. Opinion on the recent Kyle Rittenhouse situation. See, I don't like to talk politics. For obvious reasons. You know, not everyone agrees on everything. Obviously. But I'll talk a little bit about it. I'll say two things. One, the laws in his state are kind of weird. Not even kind of weird. They are very weird. And two, I did not love how the judge would not refer to the people Kyle killed as victims. Because, I mean, they literally are the ultimate victims. They are victims of death, of a murder. And the judge claimed that it was, you know, it was loaded, like it was a loaded term to call them victims. But I had no problem calling them arsonists or looters. So yeah, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Other than that, I won't really talk about it. Because, yeah. Nick says, hey Josh, I wanted to know what your first time playing Jack and Daxter was like. Where were you? Who were you with? How did you get the game? What is the context of this legend set before us? One of my earliest memories is me and my twin brother exploring Sentinel Beach together, running from the lurker hounds. Our mom had brought the game home on a whim one day, and my brother and I were hooked immediately. We were 6 years old the first time we first beat the game with help from mom, of course. Oh, that's a nice memory. I honestly don't remember too much about it. The only things I remember, I was like 4 or 5 years old. I was really young. It was my brother's game, my older brother's game. He was probably with me while I was playing it. I know I didn't get out of Geyser. But yeah, I remember the game being really, really pretty, and that's about it. I don't remember much. This is Aslov, right? I'm pretty sure this is Aslov. Plans to come to SOCON. I heard Candace was gonna be there. Yes, I plan to come to SOCON. Yes. Kirk says, question. What was the run that got you the most hype for it at the time? Like when you finished it, you felt the best. Oh my god, Kirk, there are so many. So many speedruns that I finished and I was on cloud 9. The first one I remember was my 2446 in Jack won any percent. That had me on cloud 9 because it was my first ever world record in any percent. Another one was my 2407, what felt like the unbeatable world record at the time. Which, I mean, no run is unbeatable, but it really felt like that was the run. But more recently, most recently, there was a run in February, I believe it was February, where I completed no major skips in under an hour. It was 59:59, and that was, I felt on cloud 9 then too. So probably those 3 runs. I can't really think of any others. I'm sure there were others, but those are the 3 that come to mind. Drygow says, what is your favorite modern platform game? I've only played 2 modern platformers, being A Hat in Time and Super Mario Odyssey, and I enjoyed Odyssey more, so I'm going to say Odyssey. Rusty Monkey says, would you ever be willing to do a stream where you explain all the tricks and glitches you perform while speedrunning? Absolutely. the one thing I do fear is that people will just get bored. Because there wouldn't be as much like interacting. Because like most of my stream is just me interacting with people who are there, you know. With that being said, it'd probably make more sense for me to do like a video where I explain the tricks and glitches and stuff while I run. And I always do that during like marathon runs. When I run a game in a speedrun marathon, I always just like explain as much as I can in the little time that I have. But yeah, I totally do a video of something like that. Yeah. Consuelo says, when was your first time playing Jack 1? I was 4 or 5 years old. So 2002, 2003. Alan says, do you like the first Clerks movie? I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. I'm sorry. Hangar says, just curious, how did you get into speedrunning and why Jack specifically? Also, any tips to get started? I got into speedrunning through basically other speedrunners playing it at the time, like Headstrong and Jazz, and Grig, and I'm sure like Prier was there. I know Bill Braid was around but on his way out. Bill Braid was like one of the most like legendary runners at the time, but he was on his way out. Yeah, by the time I actually started doing runs, he was pretty much done. Any tips to get started? Well, use the guides tab under speedrun.com/Jack1 or Jack2 or Jack3 or whichever game you want to get started with Hangar. But some of the tricks with any speed game might not come as easy. So just keep at it. Ask questions. I cannot stress that enough. Ask questions when you don't understand something instead of trying to brute force your way through it. That's why we have a Discord, which is also under the speedrun.com/Jack1 or Jack2 or Jack3 or whatever game you want to get into. There's a Discord tab. So yeah. Mari asks, can you thank us for watching your Q&A video to the end? Listen, Mari, and everyone who is watching still to this very point, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate that you want to get to know me, or you just want to have something comfy in the background and you decided to choose this video. Thank you so much. AK says, any plans on trying to beat your Jack and Daxter any % world record? Also hyped for the Jack 1 to 3 speedrun. Will that come as a video on your channel as well, or will it be Twitch only? Having some long, boring times since a few months and content is dry AF. I need something to watch, my dude. AK, I have a couple things to tell you. One, the Jack and Daxter any % world record is not by me. I do not have it. Stellar has it. He got I actually made a video about it a while ago. He got the first 15 ever in Jack 1. And for the Jack 1 to 3 speedrun, that is also done and uploaded to YouTube. It's literally an 11-hour video. Some people have told me they watched all the way through it, and I don't know how, but yeah, it's there. It's literally uploaded. I think the day that you posted your comment, it was uploaded, or maybe the day before. But either way, it's there. Go watch it. Mortis says, how did you get into speedrun the Jack games? How did you get into streaming? How based are you and how based am I? What are your goals for 2022? Now this, okay, so speedrunning the Jack games I've explained. I got into streaming because I just wanted to stream my runs. I didn't expect anything of it. I just wanted to stream my runs in literally the worst quality possible. If anyone's seen any of my early streams, they're complete ass. I mean, ass. And they were ass for a long time. And the quality can still get better on these streams. But, point is, I really wanted to do runs on stream. So by watching other people stream, I was like, I could do this, right? I could do this. And so I did it. How based am I? I don't know. That's for you guys to say. I don't know. I think I'm decently based. I'm alright. Mortis, you are pretty based yourself, though. I can say that. You're very based. All the videos you make for me, I appreciate every single one of them. What are your goals for 2022? Man, if one thing that I would love to have as a goal for 2022, or one goal that I do have, I should say, one thing I really want to make happen, is for my YouTube to grow a little more than it has. If I could reach like 20,000 subscribers by the end of 2022, that'd be nuts. That'd be so massive for improvement. But that starts with me like really making videos and not having my videos just be like a Twitch dump. You know what I mean? So yeah, that'd be like my most ambitious goal. Yeah. BLB Show says, opinions on the other Naughty Dog games. I think Jack might honestly be my favorite since it was the only franchise that felt more open. The other Naughty Dog games feel so much more linear IMO. That is a very good observation. As much Crash Bandicoot that I've seen, I've never played them. I've played a little bit of Crash 1 NST. But not much on that end. For Uncharted, don't know anything about it. Literally nothing. And I always felt bad for some reason when people would ask me like, hey Josh, do you like Uncharted? But I'm not really like a Naughty Dog fan. I mean, I am a Jack fan. And Naughty Dog, I know they make great games. Like I did play The Last of Us, and I played through most of The Last of Us 2. I never got to finish it because I don't have my PS4 with me anymore. My brother has it, and he lives in a completely different state, so I can't play them. And I don't want to watch the end because I want to experience the end for myself. So, I really do like The Last of Us though. And I'm sure if I played the Crash series and the Uncharted series, I'm sure I'd love them both too. I have no doubt about it. Just because I know Naughty Dog makes great games. But yeah, I have great opinions about every Naughty Dog game that I've played. Bob says, what is the greatest song of all time? Why is it Return of the Mac? My man. Return of the Mac is a top tier song and no one can dispute otherwise. I don't know what the greatest song of all time is, but it's probably By the Weeknd. Okay. Shannon Stubbs says, was wondering who your favorite speedrunners are. Ooh, that's a tough one. As I've mentioned before, I do like a lot of Minecraft. I do watch a lot of Minecraft. I do watch a lot of Jack. My favorite speedrunners are, well, I mean, to start with like Minecraft. There's actually so many. Jesus Christ. But I love to watch Feinberg, Illumina, Silver Dr. Mario. I love to watch Dylan. There are literally so many Minecraft streamers that I will watch on a daily basis whenever they stream. Like, I'm on it. But there are also like so many Jack speedrunners that I love too. I mean, God, man, I don't know. Like, it's literally impossible to tell you who my favorite speedrunners are because I look up to so many, and so many of them inspire me to do better. It's hard to pick and choose. Man, the entire Jack speedrunning community is so inspiring. And yeah, again, hard to pick and choose. Hard to play favorites. Alright, so Reach says, kind of weird question. Do you still feel anything while playing these games? Like, do you still feel the game's atmosphere after all these years you've spent playing them? Or have they become something akin to white noise? Would love to know. Keep up the speedy business. Thank you, Reach. Yes. There will be... And you know what? I think the reason that I do still feel something while playing these games is because my chat is always pointing out things. They're like, you know, they did really good on this mission. Or like, point out some like really, really tiny detail about the game that I'm like, wow, that's actually some pretty good insight. Like, so it's always my chat keeping me appreciative of the game that I'm playing and the little details. So yeah, I do still feel things, and I still think about some of those comments when I actually do speedruns. Even if I'm like doing speedruns offline and not talking, I'm still thinking of those things sometimes. But yeah, no. Pablo says, can I ask you a question? You just did, my man. Tony says, do you plan on visiting countries around the world? So okay. The first thing I plan to do when it comes to visiting another country around the world is wherever ESA is at, the European Speedrun Assembly. I want to be there. That's the first place I want to go. Wherever that's being held. After that, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not like a super travel-y person. But yeah. Bepsy says, do you think these games are fully optimized, or are there still some potential skips and some super genius can figure out? I appreciate the intentional speech pauses in the video, by the way. Really added some unnecessary yet welcome tension. Keep up the mega Squidward gaming, brother. Yo, thank you so much, Bepsy. This is... You know, this is an interesting question. I don't pretty much ever think that a game, unless it's like... There are very few exceptions, but I don't think most games are like fully optimized. I feel like there's always something to find, especially in an open world 3D platformer like Jack. I always know there's going to be something to find. It'd be ignorant for me to think that everything has been found, you know. But yeah, and it might just be staring us in the face. That's the fun part about it. Like, it could just be staring literally everyone in the face. So yeah. Simon says, are you going to do 80% runs, or even other categories on Jack 2 and 3, or just 100%? And 2, why does the city need my sack? I probably will do once I finish Jack 2 and 3 100%. I'll probably be doing some all mission stuff with both games, because I mean, once I've learned 100%, I just need to make a few tweaks to do all missions and get rid of the side mission orb stuff. So that shouldn't be too bad to get into. I've already been doing no out of bounds speedruns for Jack 3, just like on the side whenever I can't finish an 100% run. And eventually I'm going to be uploading one of those videos to YouTube. So, yeah. Why does the city need my sack? Because Praxis said so. For those that don't know what Simon's talking about. Baron Praxis in Jack 2, sometimes he'll say the city needs your sacrifice, right? But there was one time where it just cut off. He cut off himself at sack. instead of sacrifice. So, I've done a thing. There we go. Yeah, he'll be like, the city needs your sack. Yeah. Stellar has 8 questions for me. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Yep, 8 questions. All right. What is your favorite run that you have personally completed? My favorite run, that is, again, it was probably one of the 3 that I mentioned before. Probably my 59-59 in NMS. That was like pretty monumental for me. It felt like a level up of play from what I was doing before, and it just felt good. Favorite run you've watched live, including marathons. Literally every single marathon run that I've been on the couch for was my favorite. It's hard to pick. Like, there was Headstrong and Sicky's run with Jack 2, and that being on a GDQ stage is like so much nerves, but it's so much fun, like, once you really get into it. So these runs aren't my favorite because they were like, oh my god, they're playing so well. This is so sick to be live here for. But it's like the atmosphere of it all makes it like the best to be around, you know? But watching Ricky's AGDQ run, being on the couch for that was really cool. Being on the couch for Yisk's run, I forget the game he was playing, but even that was a lot of fun too. Just the vibes were immaculate. So, I don't know, like literally every marathon run just like beats out any run that I was like in chat for. I don't know, man. It's the best just being there in person. So yeah. Favorite speed game to watch that you don't run? That's a hard question. Because generally I only watch speed games that I run. But I mean, on occasion I will watch some SM64 because I know how highly praised it is, and it's, you know, the movement looks very satisfying, and you know, sometimes I'll check that out, or even some Super Mario Sunshine. Basically any Mario game, because, you know, that includes Odyssey. So probably those 3, you know, the open worlds Mario games. But yeah. Favorite pizza topping? Pepperoni. I'm bland. I like pepperoni. If stuffed crust is an option, I'd go with that instead. Least favorite song by the artist you like the most? For those that don't know, my favorite artists are Kendrick Lamar and The Weeknd. And it's hard to think of a bad Kendrick song. I mean, like, this is tough. Because I know that Kendrick doesn't miss, and I know The Weeknd doesn't miss. But if I had to choose, it'd probably be in a song that they were featured in, right? So, like, for The Weeknd, it'd probably be like, it'd probably be Smile. It was him and Juice WRLD. The song was like just okay, like it was just whatever. And for Kendrick, it'd probably be Bad Blood with Taylor Swift. It's just kind of whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'll go with that. Favorite BTTV GIF emote? Hypermods. The one of me slamming at rapid rates. The one that Stellar made. That is my favorite one. But if, I don't know if that counts. I mean, it is a BTTV GIF emote, but maybe you're looking for like one of the more popular ones. In which case, it'd probably be like People Talk. People Talk is one of my favorites. Yeah. Least favorite subject at school? it'd probably be, no, it definitely was history. I'm actually gonna tell the story. I know I'm like near the top. I don't know how deep we're into this here. How deep is the video? We're an hour 15 in. No wonder my voice is going bad. Okay, so if you're still listening, thank you so much. But I'm gonna tell a story. My least favorite subjects in school was history, and one of the big reasons why was when I was a sophomore in high school. I took this class called AP European History, which is AP stands for Advanced Placement for those who aren't living in the US. I don't know if they have AP classes or what they're called. Basically, the function of an AP class is to give you an extra point in your GPA at the end of that semester, at the end of that semester you take what's called an AP test, and if you pass the AP test you can get college credit. So I took an AP European History course, and I did nothing in that class because I hated it. It was the only F. It was the only F I got in high school. And because I got an F my sophomore year of high school, I had to retake it to forgive my grade. So whatever grade I got the next time, it would replace my F, right? And the last couple weeks or so, I was in my junior year at this point of high school, taking a class with a bunch of sophomores, and by the last couple weeks of that semester, I had a C, right? Average C. And I was cool with that as long as I passed, And then she gave us our final project, which was to make a board game, a European history-based board game. And I was really excited with this. It was like a big, big final project. This is supposed to affect your grade a lot. So I was like, all right, I'm about to mess around and make the greatest board game of all time. So we were assigned into groups of like 3 or 4, and I told my group mates. They weren't very excited about it. I could just tell. So I was like, you know what, guys? I'm gonna make the board and I'm gonna make the questions, which is like 95% of making a game, a board game. But I told them that I'd do it all, and they ain't even gotta worry about it. Right? So I went home, made all the questions, hundreds of questions, multiple choice, made the board, designed the board, put all these different mechanics in it. Like it was a nutty board game. One of my greatest high school achievements. It was so like silly. It was so good. I put so much effort into it. Right? Came to school on the day that we had to present our game boards to everyone. I put the board down at the table, and basically you go around in your group to each board game that people made, and you grade the board game, right? And so everyone who's playing my board game is enjoying it like hell, right? Everyone's like, damn, this board game is so good. Like literally every group is like that, right? And my teacher, I'll call her Mrs. H. She was, taking note of that, like looking around, like, okay, people are enjoying this one. And everyone, like I said, all the students grade each other's board games. Everyone graded my game a perfect score, right? Perfect score. So my group was the only group with a perfect score. And so I was like, hell yeah, my grade's gonna go up to like a C+, maybe like a B-, right? If I'm lucky, I get a B-. And I could see my teacher at her computer, like sort of typing the grades in, like looking at all the rubrics, seeing what to type in for each grade, right? And we could check on our phones like a live update of our grades. Like as she puts it in, you could see how your grade was affected. I'm checking, I'm refreshing, you know, I'm refreshing on my phone. I still have a C, it's like a 74%. Still a C, still a C. And then I refresh again, and I see a C minus. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm dumbfounded. I have a C, my grade went down? And so I check, and the way that grades worked was that grades were weighted. So different assignments were categorized under a group, and that group had a certain weight on your final grade. So the group that the final assignment was categorized on, I already had over 100% in this category. I had like 110% in this category, right? And so when she inputted the 100% grade into that group, it actually averaged out. So my grade ended up being in that group like 105%, right? It was at 110. She put in the 100 and it put it down all the way to like 105, right? I was like, oh, that's why my grade went down. So I explained to Mrs. H, like, hey, my grade went down. My grade went down because, and I got a perfect score. This isn't right. And she's like, how does that happen? Like, how does that work? And I had to explain to her what happened, and like how that works. And she's like, once I explained it, she's like, okay, let me see what I can do. Right. So she goes back to her desk, her computer, and I go back to my seat. Right. Time passes. The bell rings, meaning we can go to our next class. Everyone gets up, and I'm still refreshing, checking my grades. Still a C minus. Still a C minus. I'm like, damn, man. Like, nothing's gonna change. And I walk out the door. I was like one of the last ones out the door, hoping that she'd say something as I'm like walking out, but she doesn't say anything. So I walk out, take like 5 steps away from the door, and then I hear like footsteps walking out, and I hear Josh. And I turn around, it's Mrs. H, right? She's like, check your grade. And I'm like, oh, word? And I look at my phone, I refresh, an A. It was an A. I freaked out. I was like, literally how? It was one of the happiest days. So, yeah, all that for, you know, because Stellar asked what my least favorite subject at school was. I actually got all A's that semester, which is the only time I ever got all A's in high school. So yeah. Sorry for all that. Next question. What is your biggest fear? So I have 2 like big fears, right? One of them is a fear of heights. One of them is a fear of large bodies of water. Not to mention, I went parasailing one time, which is you're 1,000 feet in the air over the ocean. Not a thing I'd do again, for obvious reasons. But I mean, you know, those 2 are like sort of surface level fears that I have. But really, one of the biggest fears I do have is the fear that I'm just not doing enough in my life. I'm sure other people can relate, but sometimes I just feel like I'm not doing enough, and that I'm just not enough for people. So, you know, there's that. So I've answered all your questions, Stellar, hopefully to your liking. Could have probably made a whole video just on Stellar's questions. Okay, Sandwich says, do you like cheese? Yes, I do like cheese. Philip says, I genuinely do not know what to ask, so I'm just saying keep up the great work. I've been watching since forever and always loved your runs, even though they are almost always the same thing. You make it entertaining every time. Thank you so much, Nicarina. Thank you, man. I really do appreciate that. Oh, why did these auto responses literally just say everything I want to say? That's fricked up. Thank you, Nicorino. Asky says, "You gonna try to speedrun Rack at any time again?" Um, I'm gonna go ahead and say probably not. I don't see myself at least playing speedrunning Rack 2 again. But like, I mean, never say never. Maybe at some point I'll just get the urge and just start playing. But it hasn't happened in a while. I don't know if it'll ever happen. Yeah. Gabos says, just how do you think the Jack and Daxter speedruns are gonna evolve? Also, everything fine? Tell us a bit more of your life. I mean, obviously Jack is gonna get more and more optimized. There hasn't been like a huge like meta shift, like speedruns. Jack and Daxter speedruns evolve pretty slowly. But I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna evolve, and that's kind of the fun part. Like, we don't know. I just hope for the better. I hope they evolve for the better. Also, everything fine? I would say everything is okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm alive, and that's good. I'd like to keep it that way. Tell us a bit more of your life. Man, I have no idea what to add on. I feel like I've told you guys a lot so far. I don't know. I'm just out here trying to make it work, Trying to make it work. Josh, what are your top 5 favorite hip-hop artists? Oh, man. This is one question I should have thought about beforehand. I'll tell you what. I will come back to this one after I read the rest of these, okay? I'll come back to it. Steven says, why Dexter Squirrel? That's a great question, Steven. I believe Dexter is Squirrel because the devs decided he was going to be Squirrel. I don't know. Tanner says, what are some of your favorite games besides Jack? And all games speedrun coming soon? So I've named some of my favorite games besides Jack already. Ratchet and Clank 2, Minecraft. I guess those are some of my favorite speed games. And all games speedrun coming soon? Oh god, no. Unless you're talking about an all Jack game speedrun soon? Relatively soon. Sometime in 2022. Yeah. When, not if, Naughty Dog reboots the Jack series, would you rather make them more of a spiritual successor to Jack and Daxter, no guns and more adventure based, or more combat focused gun heavy Jack 4? I would much rather have the former. Yeah, because we already have Jack 2 and 3 are more like each other, right? And if we have Jack 1 and 4 more like each other, that'd be awesome. It makes it kind of even. Thunder says, can you help me with my homework, please? No. But since you said please, I'll consider it. I will consider it. Thank you for being kind. Rayakun says, 69 likes, bruh. Facts. Logan says, how and where can I get into speedrun these games with how-tos on current to-date strats? Speedrun.com/Jack1 or Jack2 or Jack3. Hit the guides tab, learn from there. Join the Discord. Ask questions. That's it. Easy peasy. Easier said than done, but yeah. Recon says, what would you say the most important trait in a speedrunner is to have? Would you say being really calm in a run is good? Would you say being really calm in a run is a good trait, or never resetting is a good trait, etc.? I'm curious what you think. I personally believe staying calm and also being really hype is a good trait to have. Makes them more entertaining and shows speedrunners' dedication, but that's just me. I hope this makes sense because I said questions. I would say the most important trait for a speedrunner to have is resilience. Because as a speedrunner, you're gonna lose runs. You know what I mean? You're gonna lose runs, but the difference in many speedrunners is, you know, when you get knocked down by something, are you gonna try again? Or are you gonna be done? You know what I mean? And those times where you decide, I'm gonna run it back. You know, I'm gonna run it back, I'm gonna do another run. That's kind of what separates you, I think. I would say that's the most important, is resilience. As for, like, being calm in a run is good. Like, keeping calm and making sure you're executing and, like, not really... How do you say this? Because, like, you're going to get nervous, right? Everyone's going to get a little bit nervous, at least. Being able to acknowledge that you're nervous and use that is a whole nother thing. You know what I mean? That's like a... You know, that's like a... That kind of makes me think of Kobe a little bit. Kobe Bryant, in that way. Because, I mean, speedrunning and being in the NBA are two totally different things. But, like, you can have the same mindset, right? Like, I don't know. I miss that dude. I miss him a lot. Okay. But being really hype, I'll be honest, that doesn't matter at all. Like, literally, that matters zero. I think, like, as for having good speed runs, being hype does not attribute to that at all. Being hype, I mean, it's like yeah, it makes them more entertaining for sure, and that might make people want to watch more, but some people don't really care. I don't know. It just kind of depends who you are, you know. I don't know. But being hype has nothing to do with being a good speedrunner. Like, there's no correlation there, you know. Brayden says, I don't know why it disappeared, but I asked you whether you put syrup in the fridge or leave it out at room temperature. Haven't been around much lately, been really busy. Gonna try to catch a stream soon. Much love, Outrag. Beamo, thank you so much, dude. Yeah, I don't know why sometimes comments just disappear, but I put my syrup just like in a cupboard. I don't put it in the fridge because I don't. It's when you like have cold syrup, it comes out a lot slower, and it's just not as enjoyable cold. I don't know. So frick that. I'll just leave it in the cupboard. That way it tastes better and it comes out easier. So yeah. Okay. Top 5 favorite hip hop artists. Oh god, Grey Wall, you hit me with a freaking... I should have prepared for this one, and I did not. Number 1, Kendrick. Hold on. Number 1 is Kendrick, 100%. Number 2, you know, people who are like hip hop heads, like, y'all probably not gonna like me for this, but I didn't grow up with the older artists like Tupac or Biggie, so I'm not really gonna include them. Like, they're not part of my top 5 because they're not, like, I just didn't grow up with them, you know. But my favorite hip hop artist is Kendrick. My second favorite is J. Cole. Man, And then from there, who cares? And then from there, who cares? I'm kidding. There are great rappers out there. There really are. None I've really enjoyed more than Kendrick or J. Cole. God, I hope I'm not missing anybody. I mean, I'm looking through my phone right now. Phone. My phone is gone. Never mind. I lied. I'm not gonna look through my phone. Frick, man. I don't have a 3, 4, or 5. I can't think of anyone else right now. I'm waiting for the damn Kendrick album. And I'm not gonna restart this to think of 3 more. So I'm sorry, girl. You kind of got fricked. I might just reply under your comment when I can think of more. When I look at my phone to look through my artists, then I'll pick a top 5 for you. But for now, those 2 are easily my top 2 in that order. And so yeah, this video is literally over an hour and a half. I'm so sorry, but I wanted to answer literally every single question of everyone's. So if you enjoyed, if you actually got this far, like the video, it'd mean a lot, dude. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys soon, dude.